Today we're going to go over something kind of exciting. What we did is we set up a room, and it's for a scenario where we have a complete blackout, we have no power, our gas is out, we're basically limited to just a few resources. And so in order to do that, what we did is we set up a room next to our kitchen, and we actually chose our kitchen because it has all our supplies that we need. We wanted to be close. We'd also recommend that if you did this, you do it up in your bedroom. That way you have your bed, you could sleep in your bed in a sleeping bag or whatever it takes. But this is what we chose. So follow me and I'll show you what we did. The first thing that we did is we hung up these are actually curtains that we found that we hung up that would cover this large space, which is larger than you guys would probably have to work with. Most people would just use a door or whatever, but we had this large space. And what we did is I went to the store and I got these drywall picture hangers. And those things work great because if you have drywall, they don't put permanent holes. And so I chose that for this situation to, so you can see how those work. And then we just hung them up here and blocked off this area. The next thing that we have is we have a table. Since this is the dining room, it's kind of handy. In here we have our battery backup. We got that. We have a light, plus we have more lights. We have this one set up. We have a book, and then here you can see Belinda, playing a game of cards. And then I can sit down sometime and I can actually just sit back and read a book. And that's what we like to do. We want to have something that'll help us relax and take the edge off of it. If you have kids, then make sure you have games and things like that for them to play. To keep the edge, to make it more exciting and make it fun. And one thing that'll really make this fun if you have children is the setup for sleeping. We've in other videos, which we'll put links in the description, we mentioned using, a tent. Well, if you don't have a tent, we thought this would work pretty good. I mean, I could have easily set up a tent in here, but we had a table, so why worry about it? Because all we did is we have 2 sleeping bags. And they're on sleeping pads that I use for backpacking. And both these pads or sleeping bags are rated at 20 degrees. And what's really interesting, a lot of people don't know, is that's called comfort rating. But I don't call it comfortable because what it means is at 20 degrees, you're basically going to be hating life. It's great down to 20 degrees, but that's the limit. You'll basically, it's a survival rating is how I consider it. That you'll survive at 20, but below that, you're not going to do very well. And you're going to be uncomfortable at 20. But we don't expect it to get that cold in here. Perfect. It works great for me backpacking, even in the fall and the winter. So we have that. Then moving on over here, we have a wheat grinder. No, over here, here we have a fire extinguisher, and then we also have a CO monitor, carbon monoxide monitor on our freezer that's just outside in the kitchen, and then we have our little Mr. Buddy, or this is the Big Buddy heater. And then we also on there, we have a frying pan to demonstrate that you can actually cook on this. And we did a video on how you can actually use this to cook on, which is great because then you're using this item for more than one reason at a time. It's really nice. Okay, and then here you'll see we have a fireplace, but ours is a gas fireplace. So in this scenario that we're playing right now, we're in the thought of we do not have natural gas right now. This is the worst case scenario what we're doing here. If we had this would be a game changer, but we don't have this in this scenario. The next thing we did that holds in heat is you go over here. Okay, and what we had here is, we put a blanket over our window, to insulate that. And in this one, what I did is instead of using those hooks, I tried another method. And what I used were simple thumbnails, and I put those in there, just to give you options. Because everything, when an emergency situation, you may not have everything you need. So you got to think outside the box, and you got to, think about things, and that's a good way. Just try anything you can to hold this up. But basically, this is all we have here. And it should, keep you fairly warm, in an emergency situation. So, especially with that heater will probably make it very hot in here. I hope you found this video informative. Make sure you leave a comment. My name is Wayne, and I'm with Normal Prepping. Thank you.